Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again. And on today's episode, we have come across reason 4367 why having your wife go on a girls' trip is a terrible idea. So, here we have a story today of a woman who decides to go on a quote unquote girls' trip. But what it actually was her going away with a different man. Okay, so she was having an affair, she was cheating during this getaway, and it was actually a romantic getaway as opposed to a girls' trip. Now, let's not get it confused here. Girls' trips are pretty much always romantic trips because on these trips, women are going to invite attention from random men regardless, even though everybody chooses to ignore this fact and everybody wants to convince men that girls' trips are totally normal. So let's take a look at this story here. My wife's girls' trip was actually a romantic getaway, so I divorced her, which is fantastic, exactly what you should do. I think if your woman is trying to have girls' trips in the first place, you know, like what on, especially to places like other countries, holiday destinations, my goodness, man, like can we all just get on the same page here and say that the reason why these women are leaving is so that they can actually accrue more options, right? They're getting attention from men, or they're going to meet men already. Let's jump into this one. When one husband became suspicious of his wife's upcoming girls' trip, he did some digging, and what he uncovered changed everything. His wife's supposedly innocent getaway was actually a secret romantic vacation with another dude. Armed with evidence, he decided to confront her in the most direct way possible by showing up himself with the divorce papers in hand. I don't think it's necessary to go through all of this effort, guys. The moment a woman does something like this to you is quite literally the moment that she is worth no effort from you. You know what I mean? Have all of her things packed by the time she gets home. Okay, give the divorce letter to her parents and let her parents pass it on or something. You know, just get around, no more contact, goodbye, see you later. So this guy, like many of the dudes who are in these sorts of stories, he thought he had a good marriage. Okay, he thought she was the one. Let's see how long they were together for. If it says for 6 years, Mark and Victoria had what he believed to be a fine marriage. They met at an electronics store. They both liked custom-built PCs. I mean, what woman likes custom-built PCs? This has to be such a rare and wild coincidence. It always makes me think, by the way, that the women are actively hunting for the dudes who they're not attracted to, whose resources they can use, right? Because they fake this crap all the time. She may very well be into custom PCs, but boy, do I doubt it. So their relationship moved fast. They dated for 3 years, moved in together, and adopted a dog before tying the knot in an intimate wedding ceremony. But over time, subtle changes in her behavior made him uneasy. At first, he ignored the small things, less engagement in conversations, a sudden increase in solo outings, and a shift in how she spoke to him. But the changes became more pronounced. As the changes became more pronounced, he started paying closer attention. Right, so this guy has a wife who's going on a lot of solo outings, right, is clearly talking to him disrespectfully in the house that no doubt he probably pays the bills for. And it's just funny to me how dudes will put up with this nonsense, guys. You know, oh, she talks to me like crap and she frequently goes out and does solo outings. The wife doesn't respect the man. She's not attracted to him. And so she's going out there and she's getting attention from other men while borrowing from his resources. And when I say borrowing, I just mean taking, you know. So she's probably getting the rent paid for free. She's probably getting the nice cushy life. And all she had to do was fake being interested in computers. This is honestly, guys, the story of a lot of modern women's lives, right? Is they just pretend to be somebody for a bit and they can get in a long-term relationship. But this is why I say dating for women, marriage for women, and so on, really not a difficult task to get done. So when you see the women who are like pushing 30 and they are saying how much dating sucks and, you know, they've had terrible luck with their partners, it's just completely self-inflicted. It really is. Right, let's continue. Victoria and her two close friends, Amy and Leah, had been planning their annual trip for months. So this is an annual thing. That's great. The girls' annual trip. So if she doesn't screw you over on the first one, hey, at least they happen annually, you know? This year, it was a luxury resort in Greece. Mark didn't think much of it. After all, the trio had taken vacations together before, like their ski trip and so on and so forth. Victoria had become secretive about her plans, reacting defensively whenever he asked about the details. And a few days before she left, Mark noticed some odd charges on their shared credit card, purchases from a high-end lingerie boutique, a dinner reservation, and an extra plane ticket. Is this woman stupid, by the way? So, first of all, I was right. They have a shared credit card. Again, this is probably a large percentage of the reason why the woman is with him in the first place is because they have a shared credit card, right? So she is buying these things on the credit card. It's so stupid. This woman has to be like not the brightest bulb, you know what I'm saying? And I love, by the way, also, this is the point where men realize that something is wrong, right? This is how bad the brainwashing, I think, is in society, right? Is dudes just get told that everything is fine up until the point that they have concrete evidence. You know, like you catch your wife in the park with another man at like 7 p.m. on a Wednesday, even though she said that she was going to the gym or, you know, some crap like that. And you're like, oh my goodness. Like, and then the guys are like, wow, I've caught her, but it's okay because it's only 7 p.m. and it's just this dude here. But if I caught them kissing, then it would be a different problem. It's just insane to me, guys, how like the issue, right? This woman was clearly not wife material before this, but it takes this dude uncovering very suspect charges to their credit card before he actually thinks that something is up. You know, like something, as soon as your wife is having girls trips, okay, I think that just tells you everything you need to know. But dudes quite literally need quite solid evidence to realize that something was wrong, you know? It's insane to me. Unable to shake his suspicions, Mark checked Victoria's phone when she left it unattended. Her group chat with Amy and Leia wasn't filled with their usual chatter. Instead, it contained messages about her weekend with someone named Ryan. Okay, so the friends are even in on it. There were comments about what she planned to wear, inside jokes in the upcoming getaway, even a recent photo of her with Ryan at a restaurant taken just 2 weeks ago. Everything suddenly made sense. The secrecy, the extra plane ticket. This guy, he's like, I finally figured it out. Like, my man, you could have figured it out as soon as she wanted to go on this trip. Especially, by the way, I guarantee you this dude probably you know, asked about coming at one point or another on any of these trips, and I guarantee you he was denied as well. You know, so the dude who's probably paying for everything gets denied from coming, even though he's her husband and he pays for everything. Like, can we not see the issue there? Why did it take us up until this point to realize that something was wrong? Right, everything suddenly made sense to the guy. Okay, rather than confronting her immediately, Mark decided to take action in a more calculated way. He booked a last-minute flight there, knowing exactly where she would be. If she planned a secret getaway, he'd make sure it ended very differently. A few days later, while Victoria was still texting him affectionate messages from the resort, Mark was there with divorce papers in his bag. He spotted her by the pool, lounging in the sun, while another man was there. Okay. So this dude decides to go all the way there. I'm rubbing my eyes because it's just way too much effort for someone who's human garbage. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why do men put in so much effort for women who are not worth any effort? You know what you do, right? You again, I said this at the beginning of the story. If you're a rich man, you know, you get the removalists, okay? Remove everything that she has with you. Remove everything from the house. I don't know, go dump it at her parents' house or something. Let the parents know. Get her out of the house immediately. Minimize your interactions. There's no need for like these gotcha moments that require a significant amount of effort from you. You know, you've got to go to a whole different location. You've got to get on a plane. You've got to do all this nonsense. And then she's not going to even like, it's not even going to feel good, right? Because she's just going to try and sit there and gaslight you or whatever. It's just going to be annoying. You know, wouldn't you rather go golfing or something? I don't know. Throw the woman away. Least effort as possible, but hey, it is what it is. So a few days later, yeah, he showed up there. Without hesitation, he approached. She immediately realized what was happening. Her entire demeanor shifted. The man beside her reacted with annoyance. He handed her the divorce papers and walked away. As the other dude tried to intervene, he lost his balance and stumbled into the pool. Okay, fair enough. Mark didn't wait for explanations. He checked out of the resort that same day and caught the next flight home. By the time she returned, her belongings were already packed and the locks had been changed. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Honestly, I would have just mailed it to her at the resort or something and just not even interacted with the woman, but hey. So she made several attempts to contact him, insisting that things weren't as they seemed. That's the classic. This is the gaslighting I was talking about a moment ago, you know? But the evidence was overwhelming. During the divorce proceedings, the court didn't look kindly on her use of joint finances to fund the affair. Mark walked away with the house and their dog, while she was left with far less than she had expected. That is excellent. I always love to see these stories, right? Because the thing is, the woman got into the relationship with the man in the first place because she knew she had the dude had resources, right? And then she's like, you know, she's going through this marriage. She's probably seeing other dudes. She was probably cheating before this. And she's thinking to herself, well, it's fine because in the end, if I divorce his ass or whatever, I'm still going to walk away with resources. But sometimes the women get unlucky and sometimes the women actually don't end up with the resources. I will say this though, courts are very, very biased against men. I'm surprised she wasn't just able to take his stuff. I don't know where they live exactly. But there's a lot of cases like this where the dude gets screwed over anyway, even if the woman's cheating and so on. So he kind of got lucky here. He walked away with the house and the dog, and she left with less than she expected, which is great. I love it when the women screw up their marriage so bad and then they essentially become homeless for a time while they have to pay their bills again and get a job. It's so funny to me. It's absolutely, it's peak comedy, guys. Like, there's a part of these stories that is very sad, but then there's a part of these stories that's hilarious because the women have to go out there and pay their own bills and they get really mad about it. End of the story. Wife cheats, gets divorced, gets nothing. Excellent stuff. Excellent, excellent stuff. Guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.